Today I'm going to show you how to use an HTTP request node in N8n. So a lot of people, especially those who are new to automation or building out these type of workflows, when they see anything to do with these nodes or an API call, they tend to freak out. So I just wanted to upload this quick video to show how to actually use these, and once you get the hang of it, they're actually not that bad. You're going to need, I have a real basic example here. We have a manual trigger and we're just sending this off to one that I set up. It's a testing endpoint. So to actually use one of these, you need a trigger, and we're going to go to the plus sign and choose HTTP request. We're going to start with our blank node here, and you want to connect it just like this. And once you get in here, there's a few things. So number one, you want to name it to whatever you want to do. And this is just so you know what it does later. So for example, I'll call this Zapier testing. And once you have that done, here comes the setup. So we have this method here. And what this means is what you want it to do. So there's only two you really need to worry about: get and post. Get basically means if there is something that you've already triggered, say you have a video generator, you want to get and you waited for it to generate, you want to get the video. So when you use this setting, it's actually going to grab that video for you. And post is the other one. Post is probably the one you'll use the most. It basically means that you have some data you want to send out to an external application or something else, and post is what lets you do that. And once we have our method set, we need a URL. This is basically where you're going to send it to. So I have a Zap set up here, and this is another webhook. And what you want to do is you want to find your URL that you're actually sending it to. So in my case, it's the Zapier webhook, or if you have an external application like this image generator here, you can also send it off to there. You paste this, so you paste that URL that you want right in there. And then this authentication, this is how you send your, prove who you are. I usually leave mine set to none because most of the time you could send headers and you'll just send the credential in there. And this Zapier node doesn't require any headers, so I'm going to leave this off. And query parameters is just another thing you can send. You won't use it too much. And the last thing here is send body. So the body is usually where most of the data is. And most of the time, especially in N8n, you're going to send it as JSON. And usually you could do using fields below is usually fine. So again, this is just what we want to send. And name and value, so the name is think of it as a key value pair. In other words, best way to explain that is like a username and password. So but not exactly because it's data. So just think of it like that. And we're going to send something off to this webhook. So we'll do something simple. Hello. And then I like birds. So once we execute this, what's going to happen is post. We're going to send this off to this URL right here. And we're going to send this message, this data point, hello, and then the value with it is I like birds. And we click send off, and I'll show you what the results look like. And as you can see here, I'm over in Zapier. It got the data point, hello, is the key, and the value here is I like birds. And I also had it do this Python code just as a placeholder, so it printed hello world there. Now, the more practical of you might be wondering, okay, that's cool, but how can I actually use this to make my life easier? So I showed it briefly with this image generator. This is Flux Context, by the way. I love this thing. It's a great image generator. We use it a lot in our client work. And if you're just messing with it through the website here, you have to do it manually. Like you'll have your prompt, and then you have to click the button, and then you have to wait for it to generate, and then it's going to appear. But if you use an HTTP request node, you could actually do it through these automations. And if you set, say, a schedule trigger, you could just run it automatically every day. So we'll start with a new node here. And then we have our schedule trigger, which what this does, you could just choose when you want it to run. Yeah, we'll just leave it as midnight. You could also trigger it manually. And what you want to do here is, for any external application, like Flux Pro Context here, you want to look at its API docs. You could usually find them in this docs tab. Most external applications will have that. And what's really and you want to there's a few things you want to look for. So usually you'll want to find something that's like submit a request, and it's going to look like this. This is a curl command, and usually you should be able to import it here, but it didn't work for whatever reason. So we're just going to do it manually. So usually you want to find, it'll give you the URL. So right here, and you want to copy that, paste it into the URL section. And then there's going to be these headers here. So it's going to come like in this format, and what this means, you put the send headers on node here, and you put the first value in the name box here, so authorization, and then it says key. So for the value here, key space, and then it says your API key. And to get an API key, most APIs will have it. You just go to add key, turn on API, name it, click create. I already have a few, so I'll just use, so you could just use the ones you have. I'm going to leave it blank just for testing purposes or demonstration purposes. And the reason for that is because an API key is a secure credential. You don't want that leaked into the public. That's going to cause a lot of problems. Anyway, for Flux here, we have this other header, content type. So we just add parameter, paste it there, and make sure that it's spelled exactly the way that it's designed. So like in here, so big C and capital T. And then you have this application/JSON here, so that's the value you send. And then we have this send body here. So this is usually data, and you could format that however you want, or not however you want, but you could replace it. So for example here, it says prompt, and this is what it would generate. So we're going to generate something else. Let's say a bright red parrot sitting on a tree. And as you can see here, you might see this, it's a good thing we saw this here. If in N8n you see this little red thing, it's telling you your JSON code or whatever you're going to send is not valid. And the best way to fix that actually is you just copy it and you paste in a ChatGPT, make this valid JSON for my N8n HTTP body. Oh, and you actually have to paste it. Yep. And then see, it said you got this extra quote slash, take that out, and then boom. So what's going to happen now is I'm going to put my API key in there, and then we're going to run it. Okay, we're back, everybody. So I just put my API key in there, right where it's in that one header where it said authorization key. Again, I just put it there. And now what you're going to do, oh, not that. If you have it on autopilot, it'll run automatically. I'm just going to trigger it manually here. And as you can see, it told me that I was doing it wrong because I had the method set to get instead of post. So let's try that again. And as you can see here, when I ran it, it showed its success. Status is in queue. And here is everything we need. And this request ID is important. I'll show you why. And the reason we need that request ID is because we actually need to get the image. We just told it to make the image. And a lot of the times in these API docs, it's going to tell you exactly how to do that. And I just tested it. This curl command actually works when you import it. So if you don't even want to bother with all the setup here, you could just copy this. It'll start with curl. You go to your node here, import curl, paste it, import, and as you can see it populated for us, which is really nice. Now for something like this, it's not finished yet. There are some editing you have to do. For example, this request ID, you need to delete that, and then in this make image node, you want to drag this request ID field here, or this request ID variable. You put it at the end of the slash, and what this does is it's going to automatically fill it in just like that. We also have to put our API key in here, and I'm going to do that right now. And then when you click execute step here, as you can see, we got this image here. It even said the prompt, so let's see if it gave us a parrot. Yep, as you can see, there's the parrot, and I'm not sure what's going on there. Bro's a mutant. He's got 4 feet, but you could see how but yeah, this is how that works. Now the last thing you should keep in mind is a lot of the times with tasks that take a long time, if you're setting it up in an automation here, you don't want it to just go straight into it, because it'll say like, hey, the task isn't done yet, and then it'll cause problems downstream. So the way we handle that is we just add what's called a wait node, and that does exactly what you think it will. It's just going to wait for a set amount of time. So we'll set this to a minute. That's usually fine for image generation. Then you plug that in. And what's going to happen is then when it runs, it's going to make the image, wait a minute, and then once it's done waiting, it's going to grab the image. So I'm just going to run this one more time for demonstration purposes, and I'll see you when it's done. And we're back, everybody. The automation finished running. Let's take a look at the results. Alright, we have a new URL, and as you can see, it was a success. The prompt went through. Let's see if we got the image. Yep, there he is, and his feet are normal. Yes. So that's how you do that, everybody. That's just a very basic tutorial to HTTP request nodes in N8n. These things can be very intimidating for new users of the software, but once you get the hang of it, it's really not that bad, and it almost becomes like a second language once you really get the hang of it. These things, again, they're very important, especially as you set up very complicated workflows. For example, I have one that that creates a script for a video, plugs it into a HTTP request node for HeyGen to make my avatar, takes it out, then sends that into another HTTP request to a tool called Submagic. And what that does is that is going to edit the video, then grab it, then it's going to send it out to another node where I actually send it out to my social media profiles. So these things are very useful. It's a very good skill to know. And if you want to take a look at me using an HTTP request node to send my ClickFunnels contacts over to my high level automatically, check out this video right here.